Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member Murray, and thank you to the witnesses for being here. I am really pleased to be here to talk about campus safety because obviously student success and student safety go hand in hand, and as we work to reauthorize the Higher Ed Act, we have to find ways to protect students from harm. And today, this hearing is about campus sexual assault, obviously a very important issue, but I just, before I start asking questions, want to take a moment to recognize a couple of other issues that we have to consider during the reauthorization process. One is substance misuse on campus, and the other is mental health issues on campus. On substance misuse, Senator Tester and I introduced a bill last Congress to ensure that campuses with high rates of substance misuse are able to provide impacted students with the treatment and support that they need. And on mental health, I recently heard from the University of New Hampshire's chief of police that there is no greater challenge than he sees on campus than issues related to the mental health of students. They have transported 63 students since the beginning of this school year on our flagship campus to a psychiatric facility. It is stunning. So that's why last Congress I helped introduce the Higher Education Mental Health Commission Act that takes steps to better meet the needs of students facing mental health issues. So I look forward to focusing on those issues, among others, during our ongoing discussion about the Higher Ed Act. Ms. Graves, I wanted to follow up a little bit on what Senator Murray was asking about, because one of my overarching concerns with the Title IX proposed rule is the potential harmful impact of requiring live cross-examination of survivors who come forward with allegations. So, and if you can try to be quick in your answers, just because I'm like everybody else trying to move through 5 minutes, does a live hearing that includes cross-examination have the potential to re-traumatize survivors?
It absolutely does. The first thing that we should think about is that because these aren't courtrooms and because the clear rules say an advisor of your choice, it could be your fraternity brother, a parent, a teammate who is asking these questions. There aren't rules that ensure that it's not a traumatizing
I'm
process.
assuming from some things I've read and kind of from my own experience that just being asked to relive a traumatic experience in itself is traumatic, and you're saying then without rules and guardrails, it can be even worse.
It's precisely why in other settings there is a lot of work to put guardrails in place in actual courtrooms, in police interviews. There's a lot of work to make sure that these are less.
So that is important for us to understand. I also want to take a moment here to discuss traumatic memories, because that's another issue. There's extensive research that demonstrates that traumatic memories, like those resulting from an assault, are often distorted and result in fragmented and disorganized memories that are missing details. So can you explain how cross-examination in these cases could result in inaccurate information?
That's right. Recalling experiences of sexual violence, it's not necessarily linear. Right. And one of the things that we have learned is that some things come back in fragments. Sometimes the ability to tell the story in a way that sounds, that allows the person who's asking the question to have the precise answer isn't what you're going to get. But that also doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that you're absolutely getting to the truth. That's why you have experts who are trained in engaging people who've experienced this type of trauma. It is the best course.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I will submit additional question to the record about other techniques for getting at the truth in situations like this, but I did want to turn just briefly to the economic impact of campus sexual violence on our campus. Researchers at the University of New Hampshire's Prevention Innovations Research Center have looked at these long-term implications of campus sexual assault. Research shows that roughly 1/3 of survivors leave their studies, having long-term earning and career implications for them and our entire economy. Today happens to be Equal Pay Day, the day that marks how far into a new year women have to work to earn what men have already earned in the previous year. In your opinion, do you think that, Ms. Graves, do you think that campus sexual assault has long-term implications to many survivors' future economic potential?
There's no question. We've had clients who haven't finished college. We've had clients who've dropped out and become homeless. So the specific short-term impact is there, but it's also a long-term impact. It means people aren't taking the majors that they want to have just to avoid the person who attacked them.
Well, thank you for that. And Mr. Chair, I'll also submit to the record questions about the particular circumstance of students on campus who experience disabilities because they are disproportionately subjected to sexual violence. Senator Casey and I this morning are putting in the Secure Act again to focus on how to make sure campus processes are particularly suited and adjusted for students who experience disabilities. And I'll submit further questions about that for the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hassan. Senator